Hi everyone, Thao here. So the Galaxy Tab S9 is up there as one of my favorite tech products that Samsung released last year. Don't tell anyone, but I think I might like it better than the iPad Pro. At the end of last year, Samsung released OneUI 6 for their tablets, and while it didn't include anything groundbreaking, the update did sprinkle some nice little visual plus quality of life improvements. The new Quick Panel, for example, got a fresh new look. The media player finally looks more modern and just less bleh. They've made it easier than ever to reorganize your home screen, and I'm absolutely loving the improvements to the drag and drop experience. But now, the most interesting part of this update has to be the introduction of a new Samsung DeX for tablets. In my head, I was like, okay, Samsung's about to blow us all away and show DeX the love it deserves. But you know what? They did something kind of weird. Note that this new DeX is only available on their tablets and doesn't apply to the phones at all. Okay, let's talk about what this new DeX actually is. In the past, when you launch DeX, it would have this loading screen and take a few seconds before it launches a totally different desktop-like environment. Well, with the new DeX, none of that happens. It switches instantly, and you basically get to keep the exact same tablet home screen that you normally use. The only major visual difference is that your favorite apps now end up in a taskbar at the bottom of the screen, making it easier to switch from app to app. If you own a Galaxy Z Fold, this taskbar is essentially what you get on there too. Once you're in the new DeX mode, any apps you open will automatically launch in a pop-up window that you can of course resize and move around, making it feel more computer-like. Something interesting that I've noticed is that there's like a soft barrier for the screen, where if you try to toss an app off of the screen, it'll kind of just make its way back onto the usable screen space. It's very similar to what Apple's doing with Stage Manager on the iPad, except this is a little more unpredictable. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. Every app will also now have a menu bar along the top with the typical pop-up window buttons. You can pin an app to keep it on top. This button lets you quickly set up a split screen session. I do love that the recent apps are shown right here now, right above all your other apps. You can minimize, go full screen, or close it. There's also the option of adjusting how transparent you want the app window to be. One cool thing I discovered is that when an app is in full screen, you can actually grab it anywhere on the menu bar and drop it wherever you like on the screen to quickly put it back into a pop-up window. If you're wondering, does it work in reverse? The answer is technically no. If you try to drag and snap it back to the top of the screen, as you can see, nothing happens. But if you grab the top edge of the app, like how you would to resize it, and drag that to the very top, it snaps the window into full screen. It's not very efficient, considering the buttons are right there and a tap away, but hey, you've got options. Another handy discovery is if you long press the menu bar while an app is in pop-up window, you can quickly put it into a split screen layout by placing it in the location you want it to be set up on. You can snap it to the top, bottom, right, or left. So yeah, between these gestures and buttons, I think they've done a fairly decent job making the window management here on Android a little more intuitive. Not perfect, but usable. Now, because of the aspect ratio, when you've got the taskbar, menu bar, status bar, all on the screen at once, this is all that's really left for actual content. It might be fine for the larger Galaxy tabs, but for something like the base Tab S9, it's not really ideal. You don't really have a lot of space to work with. I know a lot of Galaxy Tab users, including myself, like to plug into an external monitor and use it almost like a makeshift desktop computer. The bad news is that the new DeX only supports screen mirroring, which means everything you do on the tablet gets mirrored onto the monitor. This makes plugging a monitor for extra productivity essentially pointless. If that's a deal breaker for you, the good news is that Samsung gives you the option to switch back to the old version of DeX. Just long press the DeX shortcut and you can choose which version you want to use. This new DeX doesn't really feel like a DeX mode at all anymore. My first impressions were not very good. It's grown on me and I can sort of see what Samsung was trying to do. In a lot of ways, it makes the overall tablet experience more user-friendly. I think they should have named it hybrid mode or pop-up mode instead because it's more likely to replace the tablet mode for me rather than being a true DeX replacement. Personally, I think they've taken the thing that I love most about the two UIs and tried to combine them. You've got the next level multitasking capabilities of DeX paired with touch-friendly elements of Samsung's tablet UI. Things like the notification shade, edge panels, widgets on the home screen, it's all still accessible with virtually no learning curve if you've used a Samsung phone before. One thing that was missing from DeX was proper portrait mode support. Well, with the new DeX, if you primarily use your tablet in portrait mode, it's not a problem. So it's more versatile in that sense. Another big reason why it's grown on me is because in tablet mode, I've always wanted the ability to automatically open an app in a pop-up window because, let's face it, a lot of Android apps are still not very big screen friendly. With the new DeX, being able to open it in a window like this makes certain apps more usable. Popular apps like Twitter, Reddit, Instagram all work and look much better like this. I know manually putting apps into pop-up windows was always an option, but doing it every single time was not ideal. Also, in terms of multitasking, the triple split screen multitasking was cool, but a floating window based UI like this just feels more natural for anyone who's used any sort of computer before. It's especially awesome on a large tablet like the Tab S9 Ultra, where you have so much screen to work with. Don't get me wrong though, this is far from a perfect solution. Samsung's execution could use some work. The menu bar looks very chunky when certain apps are expanded to full screen. For example, this is what the weather app looks like. It also doesn't play well with various apps while multitasking, with it disappearing randomly or overlapping content. And obviously, if you enjoy using your Galaxy Tab with an external monitor, then the new DeX is a huge letdown. Clearly, this is still a work in progress, but you know what? I don't mind them trying something new. It's not like they took anything away. This is just a new mode that you can completely ignore if you want it, at least for now. The fact that they named it the new DeX is gonna raise a lot of eyebrows though. So with all that being said, the big question mark now is what is the big picture plan for DeX? Are they planning on killing the old DeX? I mean, I hope not, but I get a feeling that DeX isn't as popular as a lot of die-hard fans think, which is why we haven't seen much development over the past few years. These Galaxy Tabs are getting so powerful and expensive that I think it's not out of the question for someone picking it up to want it to replace their laptop. I think the closest comparable would be something like the Surface Pro 9. People are always recommending I try one out, so I did pick one up last year and I've been using it on and off, and yeah. These are two products that are basically trying to do the complete opposite things. One's a laptop first, trying to double as a tablet, while the other is primarily a tablet trying really hard to be a laptop replacement. I'd argue that both aren't quite there yet. What's funny is that they complement each other so damn well with features like link to Windows and second screen. But seriously, because of how slow progress has been, I have a hunch that Samsung doesn't really want DeX to be a true laptop replacement. Because at the end of the day, business is business. Samsung, just like Apple, doesn't want you to own just their phone. They want you to buy all their products. If you're a professional and the Galaxy Tab isn't cutting it for you, well, guess what? Samsung has a shiny, brand new Galaxy Book they'd love to sell you. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out of here. Bye!